it, don't take the lightning. Percy got that lightning. Plasma in my vein.
Hello, Lightning Tamers. Percy here. I'm going to do a quick live stream here. I'm working on using Fusion 360 as a way to kind of design and figure out fabrication and references for the crossfires and ribbon burners used in neon tube bending. I'm been assigned to help develop that studio, and so I'm in charge of developing what we need to make that happen for the Pittsburgh Glass Center. I've done a few other pieces of work to prepare for that. I've been studying this over the last 7 years, which is what creates taming lightning to begin with. And we're going to look at how I'm using that 3D modeling as my reference, as a way to kind of see things in space or see it in dimensions. But at the same time, by creating this model, I can also create a reference for those who help me fabricate it at the Pittsburgh Glass Center, which is very important to have these things developed and put together and tracked in some ways so that down the line, if some repair needs to happen, that can be done by looking at what I bought, how we assembled it, how we welded together, and all that stuff, and make that process overall pretty simple. And in the end, I'll share this with everyone who's following on Taming Lightning if they want to build their own stand or construction or things like that. I think the information should be as available as possible. So let's get right into it. Let me see if I got this nice and set up. Let's see. So that screen's much bigger for some reason. Let me try to adjust that real quick. So it's going to be a little difficult to see part of my screen. I'm pulling up the exact video of the screen here for Fusion 360. So there's a couple different things that's missing that you're not seeing entirely. So don't worry about that. I'll just kind of pull that out as necessary. I might be able to see if that pops up now if I just do a screen capture real quick. So let me take a look at that. And I'll see if I can adjust that for you. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Excellent. I'm going to switch over which screen is looking right now, just so you can see everything on my screen. Boom. Let's get that going. Excellent. So instead of just looking at the Fusion 360 screen, you're looking at my exact screen that I'm looking at. On the far left, we have the pieces I put together, and what we're looking at right now, which I'm going to hook up my space mouse, which is fun to use in this process. I can move around the object. I'll play a little music too here as well. All right, so this is just a simple gas mixer setup for which one is this one? For the hand torch, using a Venturi from AGF burner. I use parts that you can put into the system from MasterCar. I'm buying parts from both MasterCar and from other sources. This is just going to be a great reference for the fabricators or when I'm assembling things. And so we got our needle valves and everything like that. I don't have a full model of the ribbon burner. I do have the head here. I should probably model that as well. But just looking at the bottom and seeing what do I need to add to the economizer just to get my setup. So things like that. And it's helped me figure out how many parts we need for each stand of each tool. So I modeled that out as well. And then I had also modeled the sliding base for the crossfires, so the fires from across each other here. I modeled this off of something I think someone just constructed. It's something that I got from a donation, so I use that as a way to fabricate it. Otherwise, there's people like AGF Burner makes them. You can buy them from EGL. They're quite costly because they're CNC'd and they're often aluminum. And I think we want to try to save money as much as possible, and if it's something that we could just fabricate ourselves, then that's going to be better for us to kind of stretch out that budget. So here we go. I'm gonna go pull open a new screen here, and then start just building from there. I've already sort of had images from before how I built my stands, but I normally try to pull this up as I do this, but I'm just gonna go straight for it. So let's look here. Pull up the origin and start a sketch. And I'm not really efficient here when it comes to using 360, if I want to be really honest about it. There's definitely things that I would, when I get a little more time to slow down, would make a lot more sense for me to do. But I know we started with a 12-inch by 12-inch base. And I know that offline from that base will be where the tube will be extruded from. In this case, I don't really have to make the tube extruded. I can just pull that object in. But I'm just going to put this line in here just to give me a spot to figure things out. Now, and once I make this bottom part, that'll be a reference for the same setup for the ribbon burner. But I'm just looking to model things out as much as I can. I know it's an inch by inch. And hopefully I can find replicable parts, but it's really just, this is just the stand fabrication. And I'm gonna put a little rectangle here, just to, it actually should be half an inch to be centered. And since I still want to use that top plate as my reference, I'm going to go and extrude in the opposite direction. And it'll be 1/4 inch thick. Which, didn't do that for some reason. What's happening? There we go. Excellent. So stopping for a moment because I can't see if anyone's adding anything to the comments there. That's not showing up for some reason. I have too many Google accounts. Why is it doing that constantly? So I kind of wish that OBS would pull in the comments. It puts everything else in there. It shows me how the people are currently sitting there right now, but that's whatever. So I can now see you on there, Sean. Let's see here. Boom. So I guess it'd be important for me to pull up some other stuff here. Neon Studio budget.
We're heating up, fam. Bet all the stars with all your friends and make every moment more only on FanDuel. New customers bet $5, get $150 back in bonus bets if you win. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It goes down in the field. It goes down in the field.
21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE.
So I know it's a McMaster-Carr part, and I'm pulling up the part number.
Your crew identifies as either Big Mac Burger, McNuggets, or McCrispy Sandwich, but you're the Filet-O-Fish Sandwich. Oh.
Actually, it's not a MasterCard part. I have to find an equivalent. So let's see here. Square tubing. One inch. Now, I don't know if this needs to be any lower than like 36 inches, but I usually grab the 36 inch. It's always something screwy with this thing. So that's about a foot. And you can buy these in 3 feet lengths. So I'm just going to go ahead and just extrude it another 2 feet. Be right back. I'm going to check another measurement. Okay, back. So I was measuring some other stuff downstairs in the basement that I have. And this looks weird. It looks very off to me, but it's right. It's correct. Yeah. And the thing is, I probably don't need a full three feet on this, but if I can get a little bit less than that, that'd be great. But it depends if I want to cut it down or cut it in half. But it's like trying to figure out how much of that do you need to keep everything nice and stable. I'll use the whole length if it means it, but I'll probably cut some off. But essentially, I'm going to use this to, I mean, actually, I could just get 2 feet worth of that. So move that. We do that again. We'll just do 2 feet. This is where I'm like constantly adjusting things. So I'd rather have to do less waste in general, but then I could probably reuse some of that stuff anyways.
is a watch party, so it's time for your FanDuel crew to make their bets. So, what's the move tonight, gang? You know the new customers who bet $5 get $150 back in bonus bets if you win. Woohoo! We're heating up, fam. Bet all the stars with all your friends and make every moment more only on FanDuel. New customers bet $5 get $150 back in bonus bets if you win. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
Now, what's nice about breaking down each of your parts into separate files is that when you get over to adding them to a main body of a project, like this is the assembly for the stand, which I'll make sure I save that. Saving is important.
Here in New Zealand, the sun is shining.
So I'll just call them stands.
You squeeze more
Crossfire
trails to traverse,
and ribbon burner.
connections to be made, more treasures to be discovered, and more meals to fall in love with.
And I can take the stuff from the left-hand side that I already made, like the crossfire sliding adjustable base, and I can just pull that over and center that on top. So now I have this object that's together that is now can be attached to something else. This is where we can see how weird a line can be as a tool. It doesn't quite do the things you thought it would do, which is okay. It's just a weird way it functions. Fusion 360 is free. There's a lot of different videos out there to use the tool, and finding that it's free and you can do a lot with it. It's great for someone who's trying to figure out how to, if they really want to do CAD or something like that. I've had someone ask me before about whether or not, should I do this or should I do that? And it's like, what do you have? And what are you using? And if you have the more expensive tool available to you, then use it. If you have this, and use this. If you have interest in sculpting, maybe Blender or ZBrush is more your line. But it just depends on what you want to do, and the only thing that's going to matter is as long as you're like looking up and pursuing that practice. Like I told this before, when I first started to think about using Fusion 360, I heard everyone tell me it was hard to do. And what I learned recently from Sean was the term called anchoring bias. So I anchored that relationship to Fusion 360 and never really made that additional jump that that would have saved me a lot of time if I just would have invested it into Fusion 360. I stepped through other programs like Tinkercad because it was Legos for 3D modeling, but found that after looking at videos and following a video, it was just very simple. Oh yeah, of course I could do this. There wasn't really an issue there. I was all imagined, because I used that previous reference of, Fusion 360 is hard, so that means that I can't use it. Like it's not, don't use it. It's not great to use, or like you can't use it, which is just poor. It's a poor mentality on my end. Now remembering which thing is which is important here too. come on. I feel like something strange is happening here with this object. I'm trying to get it to join with this other object, which I can't remember how I make that happen. I think I might have had to like just remove the body of it, which is something weird that you can do. Just move the body into the space. But that sometimes doesn't work. Can't quite remember. Don't want to create a new component exactly. I guess I should. Oh, this should be the parent. I don't want to make it externally. I just want to make this internal component. Did I make it work? What if I break the link on it? There we go. I break the link on it, and then I start to pull the stuff in. It's always weird.
You have email.
And now that's not centered. Or it wasn't centered to begin with. That's great. I don't know why it's doing that. God, I love this.
night is a watch party, so it's time for your FanDuel crew to make their bets. So, what's the move tonight, gang? You know the new customers who bet $5 get $150 back in bonus bets if you win.
It's sometimes wild how this doesn't want to line up.
Bet all the stars with all your friends and make every moment more only on FanDuel. New customers bet $5 get $150 back in bonus bets if you win. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Allegheny County Health Department's Public Health Clinic offers free STI and HIV testing and treatment at 1908 Wiley Avenue. Open Monday through Friday for both walk-ins and scheduled appointments. If you are unable to come into the clinic, we also offer free at-home testing for certain STIs. For more information, call 412-578-8081 or click the button below.
There we go, finally. I don't know what the heck was going on there. It's still off, I don't understand it. And that's pretty simple. I think what's happening here is just mainly going to be, it's welded to this section. That's pretty much it. And then if we're doing the crossfire, the ribbon burner, it's a little more complicated. But I'm going to move back to the stand here. So I'm going to slide that out, put this back in, put that back in here. Call that a component. This component is it's going to be stand. I wonder if I could find wheels that I can use on there. The more completed is the better, I suppose. I'm going to go and look at the welding nut. And I know exactly what kind of nut that I need. This is why things get complicated very easily here, because again, like, I can always keep adjusting stuff, but I know I have to make these decisions as surely as possible, because time is of the essence. So to give you an idea of what I am looking at for reference is this right here. And this is the stand I built just to be ready for those classes in 2022. And it's not adjustable, so in this end I would cut this and make it adjustable. So it's modifying and fabricating. In this case, the new one's going to be adjustable for height. I got a lot of feedback about how taller people may need more access, or you need to have this close to chest height with the flame and things like that, or eye height. So all these different ergonomics would be nice to have, and here's what the tool I use, which is Trello. I use that as a board to organize a lot of different projects. So in this case, this inventory tells me where these different things are located for the studio. I have the neon development list, which includes my project resources, research I've done, marketing, class resource syllabuses I've created or started to actuate, and to-do list, which is arbitrary now. It's just the different focuses at different times, at different funding processes. Things I want to upgrade myself, lighting for the gauges. I saw something new about the LED filaments, which are nice, so that's going to be another project I want to do. Thoughts on restoration of the 1920s, 1940s style crossfires, 5-point crossfires. Whether I want to use those as class materials or not, I think I'm going to choose not to. Same with all the ribbon burners. I want to make things as cohesive as possible. If all the equipment's the same, when people are just starting out, it's better. So I'm trading out the ribbon burner I have from this donation, so it goes towards the PGC, another one goes towards me. They do need a lot of love, a lot of work to restore. So a lot of different research points and things that are bouncing in and out based on my attention and things like that. But that's the reference I'm looking at. So I was looking at that reference just to figure out where do I want to place this weld nut. And I think I need to look at one more reference, which would be pictures from Toledo. I did a residency back in 2022. I took a whole bunch of pictures, and that's what I used to reference building the Crossfire as we see it. Where is Toledo Crossfires? They did not have stands for the ribbon burners. They had
Big Cable's home internet will put you through all the emotions.
them attached to the table.
Surely they won't raise my introductory price.
And anger.
They raised it.
But with T-Mobile 5G home internet, there are no exploding bills or annual contracts. It's just $50 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Check availability today.
Price after $10 monthly bill credit while you maintain a nationally available postpaid voice line. Qualifying credit required. Regulatory fees included for qualified accounts plus $5 per month without autopay. Debit or bank account required.
Not great pictures, but they help you out a little bit. It's just so crowded at that place that trying to take a picture, you meant I had to take it all the way out in the hallway. But I just want to take up close-up pictures to kind of figure out where they put their weld nut at. And I'm going to say that's about 3 inches below that spot, which I think is a good spot. And there's a drawing that was handed to me by their fabricator. Instead of doing that little cross section and welding that and make sure it doesn't get bent out of shape and whatnot, I went with just a solid plate. Yeah, 3 inches from the top. But yeah, this is pretty much how my process goes. I'm just constantly messing around with stuff. Yeah. They went with sort of that just that kind of bar handle. I went with a knob where you have more grip. Say 3 inches below the top. Again, this is just sloppy mapping for me. It's just how I do things sometimes. Just get it on there, make it happen. It'll be pretty in the end. And then when you have time, learn how to properly map things out so that things are easier to remove and adjust. I've never used a weld nut. I'm curious to learn how do you set that up. But I think it just works just like that. It gives you space to weld. So that's cool. I like that. It does that. Where's that weld nut at? And we're going to put that into the stand. And the stands may be a little bit different between both the Crossfire and the ribbon burner, mainly because of, if we're looking at my reference, I do want to put a plate that holds the Venturi in place. So that's important, which may mean I will end up, using the extra bit of length from the 3 foot to cut into using that section. Let's see. Prove adding wheels on just about everything. Side note: how is Jack alive under the sea? Well, Jack from One Piece is a fish man. That's why he's alive and under the sea. It took me a long time to realize that, but the reason why Jack from One Piece did not die as he knocked off the island is because he is a fish man. So fishmen that eat devil fruit can't swim. But doesn't Vanderdecken have a devil fruit? And I think, Vanderdecken has a devil fruit too, which is why when you find him in the water, he's always having a bubble around himself. Hope that helps. Caster wheels. I'll try to find an equivalent. I just use, what do I use? Oh boy. Wheels. Got some wheels. Two-inch caster wheels with a spindle, so it just cuts through the bottom there. One screw instead of multiple screws. Wheel diameter, let's see, 2 inches. Swivel. like that type. There we go. The threaded stem casters. Low profile, I suppose. Again, I'm just trying to grab something that's sort of equivalent. I would have to look through my notes, but I think I did like 2 inches in, 2 inches in. But I'll have to double check that photo real quick. Sometimes I move pretty fast when I'm using Fusion 360. Other times I'm not. No, yeah, Jack was knocked out without a bubble, so Jack is just floating it in the water for someone to pick him up because he's paralyzed by the seawater. But just like Vanderdecken, whenever he's entering water, he has to have a bubble or else he's immobilized. But yeah, because Jack is a fish man, he is able to resist drowning. But it's horrible that a fishman would have a devil fruit. But our first introduction was Vanderdecken on Fishman Island. Oh, come on, let's think. Probably an inch in on each side. Let's play with this. Let's create a sketch, edit a sketch, and create that dynamic. Yeah, 1 inch and 1 inch. Keep it wide, the base. Try a line one more time.
Allegheny County County Health Department's Public Health Clinic offers free STI and HIV testing and treatment at 1908 Wiley Avenue. Open Monday through Friday for both walk-ins and scheduled appointments. If you are unable to come into the clinic, we also offer free at-home testing for certain STIs. For more information, call 412-578-8081 or click the button below.
What's up, guys? It's Josh Hart from the Knicks. Do your college roommates follow you everywhere? Same. I still can't seem to ditch mine. Not only are we teammates on the court, but NBA All-Star Jalen Brunson and I created a new video podcast called Roommates. We're going to discuss our experiences on and off the court, and really anything else.
I can't remember how to just multiply into whatever spots I needed to.
When life gives you balls, play with
So it's going to be a little bit slower of me doing this way, but usually if I'm looking for something, it's going to take me a while to find it, and then just watching me problem solve, I guess. But
Sideworks at 407 Cinema Drive. Roll in and get your game on at Pins.
yeah, even though the Space Mouse is helpful, I'm still not as fluid with it as if I was just kind of using two fingers to do this sort of thing. I think eventually I'll kind of figure out how to do that properly. I should just put a hole in there. What am I doing? That's probably why it's not lining up properly. Come on. Okay, let's try this again, see what happens when I try to align it one more time. It should be able to line up much easier. I did that. Bingo bongo. And this is what happens when you're not using Fusion 360 very much and you're like trying to figure out what the hell you're doing. Oopsie. Cool. The only different thing I would do for the ribbon burner is maybe, depends, probably slide it out even further. But I have to look at another reference for my ribbon burner again to be sure. Because you kind of don't try to compensate for cantilever, but I've seen that before. So I should always get some more modern images because these are a bit old. But essentially, this design here was already something fabricated, and I just put wheels on this heavy. I don't even know what this is. Probably a hubcap or something. Who knows? And I actually switched this off to the wider square base because I had issues where this was tipping left and right, and so this was swapped with this one here to give it a more stable and wider base because it does cantilever a bit more. This one's more centered in weight, so it didn't matter as much. But, you know, I'm not going to go and remake this because I did spend all that time, you know, cleaning everything up and repainting it. But the idea here is that I would create a placard that would be able to fit this mounting section here. So going back to Fusion, we have that. That has wheels on it. You have stand 1, which is, I'll just call that stand. And let's duplicate that real quick. So I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste new. And we're going to call that, rename this as Ribbon Burner.
So, what's the move tonight, gang? You know the new customers who bet $5 get $150 back in bonus bets if you win. Woohoo! We're heating up, fam. Bet all the stars with all your friends. Make every moment cool. Only on FanDuel.
Because I might change that formation a bit more. But other than that, it is what it is, right? So if we have stand base crossfire, we can put the crossfire segment in there, put the knob on there, and call it a day there. Then I would focus on building out the representation of the mounting hardware, which I would probably do on a different day because I'm starting to get a little fatigued here. And cross. So I'm going to focus on finishing up the crossfire one first. So let's do that. Then we can play and do something else. So that's the main mission, is to get as much of that possible so that I can continue to show more and more of what I've been able to do.
And add a refreshing spray. Price and participation may vary. Single item at regular price cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I thought I rigidized that, so let me go back. So rigid group capture position. Okay, come on. Yes. Okay, come on. Oh, the center is completely off in this piece. How do you reset the origin? That's why it's not lining up. The origin's messed up. So I'm looking up how to reset the origin. Change origin in 360.
You have email. See, that's... Gotta get those fingers finessed.
Cool. All right, so I have the knob. I'm gonna put on there. Got the code for it, so I can find it quickly. Come on. That'll be most of it. I think if there's anything else I'll drag into this space would be a flat bar. Definitely less expensive to get it from local. So there's like a 4x12 they can get from Home Depot. I might just make my own in a second, but usually I'll cut that in half. Whatever the blade length is, or width is, I'll cut that off in the end, but I would put my plates up here and maybe kind of situate where I want my crossfire mixers to be at. So their solution at the studio was the solution at Toledo was that you had one main and then one for the hand torch, and that was on opposite sides of each other. Now, depending on how you wire it, you may adjust how the object looks, like how it's controlled, I guess. So in this case, I'd probably rotated it. We double check Toledo.
New customers bet $5 get $150 back in bonus bets if you win. Every moment more with FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit. Issued is bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? 1-800 Gambler.
We interrupt you with breaking news live from the Pepsi Wild.
Hand torch.
I've never seen anything like this. The bold, refreshing, and bursting with cherry deliciousness of Pepsi Wild Cherry is, well, let's just say everyone is getting wild.
Pepsi Wild Cherry. Go ahead, get wild.
Okay, they did it sort of perpendicular. So I would just rotate those two on the axis and we'd be good to go. Don't want your things getting caught on, so. And then this would be rotated too. Crossfire. Top. Oh my god, the center's off. That pissed me off a little bit. How do we refine center? Well, I think next time we'll figure out that. But yeah, thanks for joining me for the live stream. There's not too much more I can do besides just doing adjustments, lining things up. But you do get to see more of this crossfire setup, and so it's starting to make a lot more sense. And still got to model up the ribbon burner mounting solutions, and then things kind of come together a bit more. So, yeah. Thanks for jumping in. I know it's not terribly exciting to watch someone walk through 3D modeling, but it's part of the... I think it's an excellent tool just to be able to understand what things look like, and then when you have solved that, even if it's from a drawing, and then putting it into the CAD, you can produce sort of a more accurate drawing of what things look like, especially if you're not comfortable with drawing or your sketches are just incomprehensible. The skill set of being able to put this into some context with materials and costs and things like that, you can do that through here as well. So yeah.